Welcome back to today's video. We'll be review the 1991 adventure romance movie, Return to the Blue Lagoon. Get ready to remember all the adventure's parts and romantic moments of this unforgettable movie. The story begins with a ship is on the sea and spots a quiet, floating boat. They find a couple and a small child who name Richard inside. The child's parents are dead, so a kind widow with her baby adopts the child. The ship crew gets sick. To rescue Sarah and the kids, the captain has no choice but to put them on a small boat with Kearney, who he thinks will take care of them. She agrees when she realizes staying on a sick ship could be deadly. The next day, Sarah, the kids, and Kearney are on a small boat in the ocean. Sarah asks for water for the kids, but Kearney refuses, saying they need to save resources. The kids are thirsty and cry, annoying Kearney. He tries to harm Richard, but Sarah fights back with the stick and throws him overboard. After a few days, big waves guide Sarah and the kids to a lovely, unknown island. Once on the beach, Sarah gets the children out of the boat and feels so relieved. In the next days, she works hard to stay alive with the kids. She learns to find food and get clean water. While Sarah is searching for food, Richard becomes curious about a small boat. But when a storm arrives, they quickly find a place to stay safe. However, the place they find isn't entirely safe. The next morning, Sarah decides to find a safer spot, as she thinks they're exposed where they are. While exploring, they come across a different part of the island that Richard recognizes. He takes them to a bamboo house where he used to live with his parents. When he sees his mother isn't there, Sarah comforts him and promises to be like a second mom. Before dinner, Sarah collects wood and plans to make a signal fire to attract a passing ship's attention. That night, as she's putting the children to bed, she hears distant drumming. She realizes it's from a tribe on another part of the island. The following day, they enjoy themselves on the beach. That evening, Sarah continues teaching the kids basic table manners. When she notices the full moon, she figures out that the tribesmen come every 3 months during the full moon. She hurriedly gets the children to bed and sings them to sleep to avoid drawing the attention of the tribesmen. 8 years pass, and Lily and Richard have grown older, enjoying island life and having fun. While bathing, Lily becomes curious about why Sarah still wears clothes, but Sarah explains that she stopped clothing them since they always take their clothes off anyway. When Lily starts asking about the differences between females and males, Sarah teaches her. Back at home, Sarah talks about the concept of marriage from the Bible and discusses the changes that come with adolescence. Soon, Lily asks about having a baby, which piques Richard's curiosity too. Sarah provides a vague explanation, and Richard remembers seeing iguanas behaving a certain way and assumes it's similar for people. One day, Lily and Richard head out to sea to fish near a reef. While catching fish, they don't notice their boat slowly drifting away from them. A shark breaks Richard's spear, and he throws rocks at it in anger. Without their boat, they become scared as the shark comes closer. As the sun sets, they remain stuck in the water with the shark nearby. Richard comes up with a plan to use the fish they caught to distract the shark. While the shark eats the fish, Lily and Richard swim back to their boat. The shark tries to follow, but they make it onto the boat just in time. They row back to the island where a concerned Sarah meets them at the shore. She reminds them of her 2 rules. They must be home before sunset, and they should never go to the north side of the island. They hurry back home quickly because it's a full moon, which means the tribes will pass by soon. The next day, during a storm, Sarah teaches the children to sing when the rain breaks through the roof. She uses palm leaves to patch up the hole. Unfortunately, being exposed to the rain and cold leads Sarah to get pneumonia. As her health declines, Sarah spends her final moments with the kids, promising to watch over them after she's gone. She also instructs them on how to prepare her grave in a spot overlooking the ocean. When Sarah passes away, Lily and Richard follow her instructions. They create a grave, put a carved message and flowers on it, and say a prayer to honor her memory. Left on their own, Richard and Lily take Sarah's lessons to heart and remember her fondly. Years pass, and Richard and Lily grow into strong teenagers. As they mature physically, they begin to feel attracted to each other. One morning, Richard brings up their Easter egg hunting tradition while Lily prepares breakfast. Although Lily isn't very interested, Richard mentions that their late mother wanted them to continue the tradition. They paint Easter eggs, and Richard encourages Lily by suggesting a prize for whoever finds the most eggs. After the game, they both have 9 eggs, but Richard hides one so Lily can win. When Lily asks for her prize, Richard takes her to the sea and dives to get her a pearl. Lily uses it as a hair accessory. Later, Richard challenges a shark to a swimming race and wins, proudly calling himself the master of the reef. He tells Lily about it, but she thinks it's risky and silly. As they playfully tease each other, Richard mentions games from their childhood, including Ring Around the Rosie. While recreating the game, they end up falling on the sand, pressed against each other. This makes Lily uncomfortable, and she suggests moving the bed to a different part of the house. Surprisingly, Richard agrees, as he had the same idea. The following morning, Lily wakes up to find blood on the quilt, a sign of her first period. She initially feels worried and hurries to the waterfall to clean her clothes. Richard notices this and goes to her, asking what's happening. Lily questions if he recalls a story their mother told them about what happens when she reaches this age. Through this, she comes to the realization that she has become a woman. The next morning, Lily tries to wake Richard to move her bed, but she notices a change in his body, indicating he has also matured into a man. Later, Lily shares her worries with her mother's grave, uncertain about the changes happening to her and Richard. Unbeknownst to her, Richard overhears everything. When Lily sees Richard, she tells him to leave, and they end up arguing. This prompts Richard to run to the north side of the island, an area they were forbidden to enter as children. In the forbidden part of the island, Richard encounters a clearing with skulls and snakes. Hearing that the tribesmen are approaching, he hides by covering himself in mud. That night, Lily becomes worried about Richard and realizes she's missing him. Meanwhile, Richard observes a tribal ritual where white-painted tribe members participate in a sacrificial ceremony. The tribe leader offers something to a large statue. When the event ends, a member stays to clean the statue. Richard seizes the opportunity to return to Lily, but the man spots him. Richard readies himself with a spear, but the man only smiles awkwardly and runs past him harmlessly. Before leaving the tribe's area, Richard notices blood on leaves, which eases his fear, as he believes he might have been killed if caught. After this incident, Richard returns to their beach, where a concerned Lily is waiting for him. As she helps him clean off the mud, Richard explains his experience. Lily promises not to fight anymore, and their emotions lead them to share a passionate kiss. Recognizing the purity and uniqueness of their bond, Richard and Lily decide to marry. They hold their wedding ceremony at Sarah's grave, exchanging vows and rings. In the months that follow, they live their lives happily as husband and wife, cherishing the special connection they share. One morning, Richard and Lily spot a ship and a smaller boat approaching the island. Using a telescope, they see 8 people on board, including a woman. The couple welcomes the strangers ashore, led by Captain Jacob Hilliard. The captain explains that their ship has run out of fresh water and requests permission from Richard and Lily to refill their supplies. Shortly after, the captain introduces his daughter, Sylvia Hilliard, who becomes interested in Richard despite knowing he's married to Lily. Richard and Lily show their guests Sarah's grave and share the wisdom they gained from her. That evening, Lily prepares dinner for their visitors. When Lily serves Quinlan, one of the visitors, his meal, he gives her a disturbing look. Later, he notices the genuine pearl on Lily's hair accessory. The following morning, Captain Jacob and Sylvia provide Richard and Lily with proper clothes. While Richard learns how to wear modern attire, Sylvia shows Lily her makeup and jewelry collection. She then suggests lightening Lily's sun-tanned skin with lemon juice. The rest of the crew soon joins them on land to fill their barrels with fresh water from the waterfall. During the evening, Sylvia introduces them to a dance known as the Spanish polka. She teaches Richard the dance, and when they dance together, Lily becomes intensely jealous. That night, Lily confronts Richard about his evident interest in Sylvia's different lifestyle. The next day, in an attempt to capture her husband's attention, Lily applies Sylvia's makeup. Richard finds this humorous and asks her to remove it. He then goes to teach Sylvia how to fish. As Sylvia makes advances toward Richard, She questions the legitimacy of his marriage to Lily, suggesting it's not official. Richard, who remains loyal to Lily, rejects Sylvia's advances and walks away. Meanwhile, Quinlan, after observing Lily bathing, threatens her to give him the pearl, which is back in their hut. As Quinlan attempts to take advantage of Lily, Richard arrives just in time to intervene. Quinlan shoots at Richard but misses. In the scuffle, Richard manages to grab the rifle, although he is unfamiliar with how to use it. Quinlan wrests the rifle from Richard and uses it to choke him. Captain Jacob and his crew try to intervene, but Quinlan knocks down one of the crew members and chases Richard into the sea. Quinlan is determined to swim after Richard, but a shark that resides in the reef ultimately attacks and devours him. After Richard returns to the island, he informs Lily that the captain has instructed them to depart at first light. However, Lily shares with Richard that she is pregnant and expresses her desire to raise their child on the island, away from guns and violence. Richard happily supports her decision, and as a result, the ship sets sail without them. Several months later, Lily gives birth to a healthy child, and the three of them continue to live contentedly on their island. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos like this one. We'll see you in our next video.